In the state of Oklahoma, a teenager can get their driver's license when they become 16, but statistics show that a teenage driver is more likely to be involved in a car accident than an older one. Some states are giving the kids a better chance by raising the minimum age for drivers. Oklahoma may be one of those states soon. A bill on the House floor would raise the minimum age limit to 17 before a teenager could take their driver's test to get their license. Legislators hope the teens will spend the extra year practicing with an adult. The author of the bill, Representative Twyla Gray, says the situation is a critical one that needs attention.
I think kids need to be aware of how many fatalities there are. They need to be more careful when they have friends in the car. If we had an incident, a school that blew up, where there were 16-year-olds that were killed and there were hundreds of them killed, you wouldn't be able to, to stand all the legislation that was introduced. But these kids are killed one by one. It happens in little doses. So we don't pay as much attention to those figures. And I just think that we need to carefully consider that.
Gray feels the teenagers' driving education should be left up to the parents and may be as simple as driving with the youth to work or to school. She does not feel that the driving education should be left up to the public schools. Representative Gray cites insurance statistics that shows that driver's education is putting more 16-year-olds on the street, but it's not causing fewer accidents. And she hopes that by giving these students another year to drive under supervision, they can save a few lives. Charles Schnitzer, Action 4.
Real simple. Somebody came in my house after everybody went to bed. And they came up to the door, and I sensed the door being shut, and I looked up and I saw what looked like a black glove behind the hand. I got my pistol out from under my bed, and I went to the door. I didn't know if I dreamed it or just imagined it or what. And there's a .357 Magnum, a Dan Wesson, or a Colt Python 4-inch barrel, black blued, pointing at my head. He said, throw the gun out. I said, no. He says, I got your kids. I slammed the door on the gun and started shooting. I don't know if he got hit or run or what.
How are your kids?
Got them out.
But they're okay?
Yeah, I got the two of them barricaded. Put my oldest daughter with a 12-gauge shotgun barricaded in the back of the house. My wife went out the window and ran. She took a pistol with her and went to call the police. And somebody outside the door and got away.
Governor Nye has said all along that he would not make any judgments on the Dr. James controversy unless he had all the evidence from the committee's investigation, and James had an opportunity to respond to the charges. At the meeting, committee chairman Ross Duckett offered to give the governor signed affidavits from witnesses at their closed hearings and Dr. James's testimony in response.
If the committee has no objection, I would like to make available to the governor these affidavits simply because they're, I don't know where they came from, but they're everywhere, and I think he ought to have them if everybody else has got them.
The committee promised more material would be on the way. Governor Nye thanked them for the offer, but said he would rather have the material all at once. He also warned the committee there may be nothing he can do.
Is that I feel that I'm responsible for the agency directors. In many cases, the agency director is obviously an employee of either a statutory or a constitutional board, and that I, in fact, couldn't fire Joe Jones if I wanted to, unless the board desired to.
Governor Nye admits that there are problems with state departments who have a professional head instead of an administrative head. He wants to solve that problem by having two department heads where it's appropriate. Today's meeting was important because it was the first time the governor and the committee have publicly come together on this issue. And now they have resolved that whenever they have questions, they'll try to answer them together. Charles Schnitzer, Action 4 at the governor's office.
Firefighters were called to a home at 2116 North Kelly at about 2:30 this morning. They were greeted by flames and clouds of rolling smoke. Some of the firemen fought a fire spreading through the side of the house. Finished there, they then sent the hoses up to waiting firemen on the roof. It took almost 40 minutes to bring the fire under control. A department spokesman said the fire started in the den, spread to the bedroom, and then the attic before mushrooming over the entire house. No one was injured, but the heavy smoke made things difficult. One fireman said the fire was probably due to electrical problems in the house or the mishandling of a cigarette. Delbert Scott rented the house. He told Action 4 what happened.
I was sleeping. I heard a lot of popping noise and smoke coming out, and I tried to get up and went back in the den area, and it was just a blaze. That's all I know, And I tried to put it out, but I couldn't. Just too much smoke. So I tried to get out the best way I could.
Damage to the house was quite extensive, so Delbert Scott had to move everything he owned out of the house and go out to face the early morning cold. Bill Ross, Action 4.
How did y'all keep that den heated?
If you're looking for that kind of thing, you won't have to look long. Drug paraphernalia is still around in the city area, despite a state law banning its sale. The Oklahoma law was upheld by a federal court, and the U.S. Supreme Court ruled yesterday that communities can regulate sales, although they sidestepped the issue of whether or not it can be banned altogether. According to an Oklahoma City police spokesman, no one has ever been prosecuted for selling paraphernalia. Despite that, the principal author of the bill banning sales says the law is having a positive effect.
I would agree with that to a point. I think that it's not near as blatant as it was. As you know, probably, every convenience store in the state of Oklahoma had a little glass cage by the cash register just filled with that crap. It's not there anymore in the ones that I've been in, the convenience stores. Head shops are different to the point that they can offer other types of merchandise that's not a blatant exposure of that stuff.
Stores that were known as head shops before the drug paraphernalia law passed are now known as gift shops or specialty stores. They wouldn't let us take the camera into this one, but we went inside and walked around, and they carry pretty much the same things they carried before the law was passed. But they don't call it drug paraphernalia anymore. As a matter of fact, they don't call it anything. As the man behind the counter told us, if you want something, just point. Ted Brown, Action 4 on the Northwest Side.
The money that we're raising here tonight is going to go to the Meadows Center for Opportunity. The Meadows is going to be a vocational and residential center for mentally retarded adults. It'll be for the whole state of Oklahoma. We are building out in Edmond. We have 7.5 acres of weeds right now, and we want to get started on it.
Is this privately funded?
Completely privately funded. We're not asking for any government money whatsoever. For New Year's 1983.
That's all we need.
Police say that 17-year-old Tamara Carter had an established routine of closing the shop and locking the door at 5 o'clock to count the day's receipts. Sharp's cleaner was closed and locked when Tamara's brother dropped by at 6:15 to find out why his sister was late. But the back door was ajar. Tamara was gone and there was a pool of blood on the floor. The door opens only from the inside. Police deduce the girl must have opened the back door for someone, for some reason. There was a struggle and Tamara was hit, probably in the head. A trail of blood leads to where an awaiting vehicle must have taken Tamara away. Her purse and 2 days' receipts were left untouched, and police are unsure of a motive.
We cannot establish a solid robbery motive or a solid motive of sexual attack. So at this time we were leaving that open, pending the location of Miss Carter.
Searchers have scoured the wooded area around Lake Draper, only a few miles away from the cleaner. But they say until they have found Tamara Carter, they have little to go on. Charles Schnitzer, Action 4, in Moore.
Come on out. 5-3. Dale Arson. Tell them the door's open.
I believe it was probably a spite revenge fire, and the breaking into the machines was a secondary, but the primary objective was to hit this particular area of the school.
Come on in, I'm gonna take you up here and book you for DUI.
So you think you had fun last night. A few drinks and then time to hit the road. You had no idea you'd end up here.
Blood test or breath test?
I'll take the breath.
About 50 other drunks were booked with you. But police say that's just a small percentage of the drunk drivers on the road.
Come on, have a seat right here.
Oklahoma lawmakers want you to face stiffer penalties.
Can you blow in this mouthpiece for me?
One proposal would take away your license if your blood alcohol level is greater than .10.
Okay.
Okay, come on to the booking desk. Face the booking counter. Okay. Need you to place your hands upon the counter. I'm gonna take all your personal property out your pocket and place it in the window with the inventory.
Prosecutors want the tougher laws.
Come on.
Right now, you can't lose your license unless you're convicted of drunk driving. You may not even realize how dangerous you are. Last year, 72 people died in Oklahoma City because you decided to have one for the road. Things are going to get tougher for you. The legislature has decided to take away the license of anyone convicted of driving under the influence. Your license will be suspended for 30 days. You get a receipt allowing you to drive for those 30 days, but if you don't win on appeal, the court decides how long your license is suspended. If you insist on driving, you may end up behind bars. You better think about it.
The Enid State School houses nearly 700 retarded Oklahomans. Students usually enter the school at age 6. They frequently live there the rest of their lives. The sprawling campus has been the target of recent allegations of child abuse. Those allegations include threats by employees to force 6 students to suck up their own vomit with a straw, threats by employees to yank out students' leg hairs, or threats by medical personnel to jab a 6-inch needle in the genitals of students who refuse to behave.
All of these cases were investigated thoroughly, in depth, and detail.
Enid Superintendent Howard Chin calls the allegations of widespread abuse absolute lies. He points to the school's 1981 investigation record as proof. Institution records show that last year the school investigated 11 abuse allegations. 3 employees were fired because of those investigations. 1 employee resigned, and 5 workers were subjected to other disciplinary measures.
11 cases in 1 year. How would you characterize that? Are you pretty happy with that figure?
When you consider that counting teachers and teachers' aides, we have an employee force of over 800, and we're a large facility. We have about 670 residents, and I would consider that exceedingly low. I fully anticipate that there will be incidents of this nature in the future, but we'll be on top of them, or do our dead level best to be.
The superintendent says he's delighted that the OSBI is going to investigate the abuse allegations. He says he feels their investigation will remove suspicions that the school is trying to hide something. Scott Wallace, Action 4 in Enid.
Oklahoma's widespread county government scandal left a lot of Oklahomans shocked, and a lot of county commissioners ashamed they had fallen into an old state tradition.
I'm just sorry it happened, and I wish it was over. And that's all I got to say.
The extent of the corruption convinced people that changes needed to be made, and the legislature went to work. The trouble had arisen through the purchasing practices. The state Senate suggested a county acquisition board that would appoint a county purchasing agent. The House suggested the county clerk assume the job of purchasing agent or the job of appointing one. Both sides feel they're on the road to finding a workable solution. One side is afraid the job of buying road equipment and materials would be too much for a county clerk to handle on top of their regular duties. The other side is worried the acquisition board could be controlled by the county commissioners, and the system would be essentially unchanged. House author Representative Vernon Dunn says the sides should be able to come together.
Once again, I want to save county government. We will take all the bills, including the DA's bill, and go to this special committee, which has already been appointed, and just maybe that we can come up with something to save county government. If we don't, the rural people's one's going to be hurt.
The important point is that everyone recognizes there are problems with county government, and they want to see those problems solved. It's just a question of working out their differences, and both houses are confident that they will. Charles Schnitzer, Action 4 at the state capitol.
An Oklahoma City viewer says, I'm thinking of drawing up a will leaving everything to my neighbor. I would like my home to be made available to this person as quickly as possible while they probate my will. How can I do this? Well, there should be no problem with this person occupying your property during the probate process. To facilitate such a move, you should direct your personal representative in your will to allow this person use of the property as soon as possible, and of course tell this person of your wishes. Outright title to the property won't pass, however, until ordered by the court following payment of all claims and estate taxes owed by the estate. For Action 4, this is Ray Vaughn with Legal Briefs.
Tragedy struck in Ada last night. It came as a tornado. The twister hit the Brook Trailer Park just before dusk. Most of the mobile homes in the park were demolished. The rubble was everywhere. So mixed up, residents couldn't identify their own trailer. Is this your place?
We don't know. We don't know.
That's what hair scattered off down through that way.
They didn't have pictures. No, but they're going to want those pictures.
Searching for belongings in the wind, the mud, and the dark proved futile for many of the residents of the Brook Trailer Park. Others had better luck. Their homes and most of their lives were still intact.
These clouds started swirling right here, and we heard the siren go off, but it was for a different tornado. And the next thing I knew, here it came and it dropped down. I guess it hit somewhere over here. And I jumped underneath that porch over there, that little one right over there, pulled a piece of plywood up over me and just prayed to God. And my friend Daryl King over here, he made it over there to the shelter. My dog even just came back. I thought I lost him. We're very lucky.
But rescue personnel first on the scene were shocked by the destruction.
It looked like somebody had a fist just about the size of the trailer park and smashed it.
Over 35 people were injured. About half were treated and released. But 5 patients were critical, suffering head injuries, like 3-year-old Stephen Bond. He and the other seriously injured victims had to be transported to Oklahoma City hospitals by air ambulance to be treated by neurosurgeons. Before flying out, one man described what happened to him.
Picked my mobile home up, moved it 150 feet.
Okay. On this side.
You with it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere along the way, we lost the mobile home. It kind of got demolished.
Terry Ragsdale is in stable condition at Oklahoma Memorial Hospital. Rescue teams and equipment were pushed to their limits by the tornado's destruction. But for one Ada man, nothing could help. 60-year-old Floyd Fullingham died from the injuries suffered during the tornado at St. Anthony's Hospital late last night. His death is the only one attributed to the twister so far. But rescue teams worked through the night looking for other victims. And while rescuers searched for victims, residents of the Brook Trailer Park searched also for what used to be their homes. Steve Hauk, Action 4 in Ada.
Short haircut, black, wavy hair. He is being held on
We have the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation is working with us, Oklahoma Highway Patrol. The FBI has come in, and they just spreading out to their resources in order to gain information.
In other words, checking families and associates, things like that?
Families, friends, any visitors we've had that have gone to see them, any lead that we can possibly come up with, we're running them down.
The Oklahoma City Planning Commission is focusing its attention on portable signs in the city. Commission members are being asked to make recommendations on what, if anything, should be done to regulate portable signs. Many businesses use the signs as their main form of advertising and to point out bargains. There have been some charges that the signs distract motorists on busy streets. Portable sign dealers contend other signs have a much better chance of being distracted. No matter the street, you are almost certain to see dozens of portable signs, usually close to one another. Currently, there are two major proposals. One is to limit the number of days a portable sign can be up. Next is to ban the signs altogether. Diana Krause of the commission is in favor of the total ban and feels it won't hurt businesses.
Maybe businesses have profited by the use of portable signs, but businesses were able to survive before portable signs ever were around, and businesses that have a good product will always be able to stay in business.
We know very well that the portable signs make a very big difference. A lot of our customers have had 40 to 50% increase in their business through the use of a portable sign. Many people have stated that they wouldn't have made it if they didn't have their portable sign.
No matter what the Planning Commission recommends, the final decision will come from the Oklahoma City Council. Both sides of the issue are concerned about safety of the signs, making sure that signs like this one aren't placed too close to the streets. And they're also concerned about regulations. The only difference is how much regulation. Ed Stewart, Action 4 in Northwest Oklahoma City.